and welcome into the WRMN 10 o'clock news. I'm Dennis Green. Coming up today, we've got a puck that drops on a $34.5 million hockey hub. We've also got a few other things in the realm of local area. DuPage County pays 2 overdue bills related to an election. And Wheaton proposes modest tax hikes in the next budget. For those of you that are traveling as well, we've got a great story from the AP. What to do if your flight is delayed or canceled during the U.S. government shutdown. Before we get to that, of course, it is weather time, and it is currently 52 degrees here in the Fox River Valley. As we march to our high of 56 in this cloudy day, low of 49 already happened. The high for tomorrow on another slightly cloudy day will be 62 with a low of 36 as the evening cools off for our rain on Saturday. The rain on Saturday makes it only get up to a high of 46 and a low of 29. So I guess it depends on when that rain comes down, if it's going to be rain or snow. Sunday, we still stay cold, but maybe that wetness will stay away from us. We'll also read you last night's lottery drawing numbers. This is for Wednesday, November 5th. Here are the results. Good luck. The midday pick 3 comes in at 271 with a 5 on the end. The midday pick 4 comes in at 2859 with a 7 on the end there. The evening pick 3, 650 with a 5 on the end. And the evening pick 4, 5931 with a 5 on the end there. The midday lucky 5, 21, 23, 27, 40, and the evening lucky 2, 17, 29, 31, and 40. The Powerball 9, 17, 29, 61, 66 with a 26 on that back end. A home in unincorporated Lake County near Lake Villa was left uninhabitable by a fire Tuesday morning. Firefighters were called to the 2-story single-family home on the 37,000 block of Fernview Lane around 2:30 a.m. after the lone resident saw smoke billowing past the first-floor window. No injuries were reported. It took firefighters roughly 20 minutes to bring the blaze under control. They were on scene for about another hour and 45 minutes in all. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, but Gurnee Fire Department officials believe it began outside the home and climbed up the exterior and into the attic of the home, where it caused significant damage. Residents were able to find alternate housing, fire officials said. When we come back, we'll talk about Wheaton and how Wheaton proposes modest tax hikes here in the next budget. Also, DuPage County is paying some bills, overdue bills that are related to the election. Stick around, we've got more WRMN 10 o'clock news coming up right after this.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. That's 800-433-3082.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
Welcome back to the WRMN 10 o'clock news. Currently 53 degrees outside in the Fox River Valley as we march up to our high of 58 for today. Wheaton City Council members will review the draft of the 2026 budget and a proposed mix of modest tax increases during a workshop session next week. The city plans to issue bonds of finance, a renovation of the police station off Liberty Drive, and the replacement of an aging fire station, number 39, on the existing site along President Street. Mayor Phil Suss said, "We have been extremely prudent in our approaches with respect to revenue. And quite frankly, we've benefited from the growth we've seen in sales tax from the things we've done in the downtown. But the city is, quote, confronted with some very significant capital improvements that we're going to fund through bonding. And we need to be able to cover the cost of that bonding," he said in a recent planning session. Based on council feedback, city staff has recommended the combination of a 3% increase in the property tax levy, an increase in the local sales tax rate from 1% to 1.25%, and an increase in the natural gas use utility tax from 3 cents per therm to 5 cents per therm. The city's last increased the sales tax rate more than 15 years ago. The city has had no increase in the property tax levy for 6 years through this year. About 11.4% of a resident's property tax bill goes to the city. Suss said officials have, quote, done the right thing over the years in not touching the property tax. He added, "I also think it's important in our overall structure to balance these things, and it's a more predictable revenue source than sales tax. So I do think it would be a mistake just to do this strictly on sales tax. The goal is, quote, to at least get one police station moving in 2026, City Manager Michael Duzgan said. That facility was constructed 35 years ago. The fire station was originally built in the early 1970s and needs to be replaced not only from the material and structural standpoint, but also from the functional one as well," Duzgan said earlier this year. The city has a rough budget of over $20 million to do both projects, he said Wednesday. Councilman Bradley Closing and other officials noted the local sales tax would also be paid by non-residents who enjoy a lot of things that Wheaton offers. Finance Director Robert Leinhart told the council, if we're to increase it 0.25%, that would be about 25 cents per $100 spent by a customer. Regarding the natural gas use utility tax, the average Illinois household uses 89 therms of natural gas per month, according to the city. Suss said that's a way to get some participation from the non-for-profits who utilize our services but aren't paying the expenses to the same extent that are or ordinary residents. The council also considered whether to create a new revenue source with a food and beverage tax. Councilwoman Erica Bray Parker said, the food and beverage tax strikes me as more of an entertainment choice. I would lean towards putting a tax on that and the local sales tax. Suss raised concerns with such a tax, and he said he's really not comfortable signaling one particular industry. A food and beverage tax also could be locally administered. City staff could handle management and collections requiring additional costs. To ensure compliance and monthly tax filing are processed, documents state. I do think we should be looking at a contribution from the property tax just because of the volatility associated with the sales tax, Suss said. With a 3% increase in the property levy, the owner of a home with a fair cash value of $500,000 could see a projected $35 increase in the city's portion of their property tax bill. That's an estimate based on what might happen with assessed values in the city, Duskin said. The budget workshop session is set for Monday, November 10th. The public meeting will begin at 6 p.m. When we come back, we'll get to the DuPage County, who has now paid 2 overdue bills related to election. Also coming up, we've got what's to do if your flight is delayed or canceled during the U.S. government shutdown, right here on the WRMN 10 o'clock news.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. Loveyourmindtoday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Chicago defense attorney Mark Schieblo has co-authored the book titled DUI Jury Trial, which is a true story of a DUI case that he defended. The accused was an Illinois truck driver arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. This book contains facts about the case from the date of the arrest up to the jury's verdict, and this nonfiction novel also includes the transcripts from the jury trial itself. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
o'clock news. We'll head on over to DuPage County, where DuPage County pays 2 overdue bills related to the election. Payday finally came for 2 vendors owed more than $230,000 for election-related services provided to the DuPage County Clerk's Office. Naperville-based Prager Moving and Storage and Lisle-based Governmental Business Solutions received payments for services they provided for the 2025 election. The payout came just days after Clerk Jean Kazmarek filed an appeal of the judge's ruling denying her request to compel the county to pay the bills. The county had denied payment of the bills, citing questions about whether the 2 contracts were properly bid by the clerk's office. In July, the county sought and won the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate whether the clerk's office violated the state's competitive bidding laws and if any charges, including official misconduct, were warranted. A DuPage County judge appointed the Illinois Attorney General's office to investigate. To date, no findings have been released. Kazmarek, who had submitted the bills for payment earlier this year, said she was not given advance notice of the payments or consulted before the bills were paid by the county. The vendors received notification of payment on October 29th. Kazmarek said in a written statement, "This sudden reversal proves that payment for these vendors could and should have been signed off long ago." She said nothing has changed regarding these legitimate and essential services that were performed for the voters of DuPage County. There's no rhyme or reason to the county's payment procedures. It's just whatever direction the wind is blowing. In the clerk's request for a temporary restraining order to get the bills paid, officials from both companies indicated they would not provide services for the 2026 elections if the bills were not paid. They also wanted assurances that they would be paid for any services provided for the upcoming elections. Though the bills were paid, an official with the county said no assurances were given about future work. Kazmarek, who noted she must contract with vendors for the upcoming elections in the coming weeks, said she intends to continue working with GBS and Prager Moving and Storage. Paula Deacon Garcia, who serves as chair of the board's finance committee, said, "I'm hoping she bids out, or we're going to have the same problem over again." Deacon Garcia is challenging Kazmarek in the Democratic primary for county clerk. Kazmarek's attorney, Kenneth Foley, said he was unsure what prompted the county's decision to pay the outstanding bills. However, he noted the clerk's office filed an appeal of a recent ruling denying Kazmarek's request to compel the county to pay the bills. Flory said the clerk's office filed the appeal and the state's attorney's office filed its response on behalf of the county last week, but when the checks were sent out, the appeal was withdrawn. Deacon Garcia said payment was delayed due to the ongoing litigation and investigation of the clerk's office by the Attorney General's office. However, she said both she and DuPage County Board Chair Deb Conroy decided last week to pay the 2 bills. Deacon Garcia noted that the payment will not impact the ongoing investigation or litigation. She added that the clerk's office also signaled they did not intend to seek other vendors for services provided by Prager or GBS. A county spokesperson said at that point, with the 2026 election cycle beginning, it was recommended to pay the invoices so as not to risk any potential impact on the election process. The clerk still has pending litigation against the county in which she argues the county cannot prevent her from procuring goods and services needed to run her office. The next hearing date in that case is November 21st. The clerk's office also said it will reach out to the county's finance department this week regarding a projected budget shortfall. Last week, Kazmarek told members of the county board's finance committee that her office did not have enough funding to carry her office through the end of the fiscal year. She also said the proposed allocation for 2026 fiscal year would fall short. Head on over to the Daily Herald at dailyherald.com to read more. The GLMV Chamber of Commerce is holding its 6th annual coat drive for vets through November 15th. The drive is collecting old, slightly worn, or new winter coats and other seasonal outerwear, which will be provided to local veterans in need and their families through the Midwest Veterans Closet. Our coat collection for veterans is an ideal way to show our community support and thank our vets for their amazing service, said GLMV President Scott Adams. Collection boxes are located at about GLMV, that's Green Oaks, Libertyville, Mundelein, and Vernon Hills locations, including village halls, police departments, and various businesses throughout the towns. For a list of locations, visit glmvchamber.org/events. Palatine Council member Doug Myslinski and Joe Falkenberg are hosting a meeting for residents of Council Districts 3 and 4 on Thursday, November 13th. The meeting will begin at 7 p.m. in the second floor council chambers of Village Hall at 200 East Wood Street. Malinsky, who represents the District 3, and Joel Falkenberg, who serves District 4, will provide updates on the community and upcoming developments, preview the 2026 village budget, and take questions from residents. Remember, that is Thursday, November 13th, over at Village Hall. When we come back, our headline story: what to do if your flight is delayed or canceled during the U.S. government shutdown. We've got a few more stories. Head on over to the Daily Herald or Shaw Local News Network. We've also got a few clips from News Nation all about a Toyota recall and Nancy Pelosi retiring. So stick around. More WRMN 10 o'clock news coming up after this.
I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Rain X. Federal agencies have issued new recalls affecting both food and medicine, including over 580,000 bottles of the blood pressure drug prazosin hydrochloride due to potential contamination with the cancer-causing chemical. Food recalls include California peaches for possible listeria contamination, as well as parsley and chicken products over salmonella concerns. The recalls were announced by the FDA, USDA, Consumer Product Safety Commission, and National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Companies involved, such as Teva Pharmaceuticals and Amerisource Health Systems, issued voluntary nationwide recalls to protect customers. Two federal judges in Massachusetts and Rhode Island ruled Friday that the Trump administration must keep funding SNAP, the nation's largest food assistance program, during the government shutdown by using emergency reserves. The decision allows the administration to decide whether to fund the program partially or fully for November. The USDA had planned to halt SNAP payments on November 1st. The Kendall County Sheriff's Office received a federal grant for the 2026 fiscal year to support traffic safety campaigns, according to officials. Funded through the Illinois Department of Transportation, the grant reimburses the sheriff's office for deputies' hours spent on enforcement aimed at reducing crashes and saving lives. The office plans to focus on campaigns like Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over and Click It or Ticket, targeting impaired driving, seatbelt use, and speeding, especially during high-risk times such as St. Patrick's Day and Memorial Day. Officials say the funding will help ensure road safety by holding traffic law violators accountable. A fire destroyed a house in the 400 block of Grant Place in Aurora early Thursday morning after flames broke out in the attic. Aurora police helped evacuate 2 residents and their dogs, but thick smoke made it impossible to clear the other units. Firefighters battled flames on the second floor and attic, conducting extensive searches and overhaul before the blaze was fully controlled. Utilities were shut off, the home was deemed uninhabitable, and the Red Cross assisted the displaced tenants with temporary shelter. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find bourbons and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice. So many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat. Grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-1313. 800-791-1313.
When tragedy strikes, you need more than a lawyer, you need a voice. Romanucci and Blandon fight for justice in cases of personal injury, wrongful death, civil rights, and medical malpractice. With over $1 billion recovered, their results speak loud. Call 312-458-1000 or visit rblaw.net. That's 312-458-1000. Romanucci and Blandon, national impact, personalized care. No fee unless they win. Proud supporter of America's First Responders Fest.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blade. Today, partly sunny with a high near 57, temperatures falling to around 52 in the afternoon, and gusty winds up to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, rain showers after 9 p.m., cloudy with a low around 48, and gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour. Currently, it is 48 degrees with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
WRMN 1410. You're listening to the WRMN 10 o'clock news. We'll head into our headline story coming from the Associated Press, written by Josh Funk and Rio Yamat. What to do if your flight is delayed or canceled during the U.S. government shutdown. The U.S. government shutdown has now dragged on for more than a month, and shortages of air traffic controllers are straining operations, with flight disruptions piling up nationwide. Staffing shortages have caused flight delays at a growing number of airports in recent weeks. Among the latest disruptions, Newark Airport in New Jersey experienced delays of 2 to 3 hours on Sunday. The busy hub like George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and Chicago O'Hare were also seeing dozens of disruptions over the weekend. By Monday afternoon, more delays related to staff shortages were being reported at 3 Texas airports, including both airports in the Dallas area and the Austin airport. The longest delays were at Love Field, where the delays extended over an hour. Long security lines that last for several hours were also being reported at some airports across the country. Experts as well as union leaders representing air traffic controllers and security screeners warn that the impact could grow significantly worse the longer the shutdown continues and workers go without a paycheck. The Federal Aviation Administration said Friday that nearly 13,000 air traffic controllers have been working without pay for weeks. Here's what to know about your rights as a passenger and what to do if your trip is delayed or canceled. Check before going to the airport. It is better to be stuck at home or in a hotel than to be stranded in an airport terminal. So use the airline's app or flight websites to make sure that your flight is still on before heading to the airport. The FAA site can be checked to see if there are widespread delays at your airport. Kyle Potter, executive editor of Thrifty Traveler, suggests also closely monitoring the news if you have upcoming travel plans. Democrats and Republicans have largely remained at a standstill, but if and when that changes, it, quote, could put all of this doubt lingering over air travel to an end pretty quickly, Potter said. Well, my flight is canceled. Now what? If you are already at the airport, it's time to find another flight. Get in line and speak to a customer service representative and call or go online to connect to the airline's reservation staff. It also helps to reach out on X, the site formerly known as Twitter, because airlines might respond quickly there. Airlines will rebook you on a later flight for no additional charge. The good news right now is that this is not a peak travel time, so travelers stand a better chance of finding seats. But the busy holiday season is right around the corner, and those peak times, passengers might have to wait days for a seat on a new flight. Consider other travel options. If these problems do become more widespread, you might consider whether it makes sense to travel by train, car, or bus instead. But there's really no way to predict when and where a staff shortage might happen, and the ongoing shortage of controllers is so critical that even a small number of absentees can cause problems. Potter said the shutdown is different from when a single airline is having problems and travelers can just pick another carrier. This is creating problems for entire airports at once. He said, as these problems expand and spread, the longer the shutdown drags on, it's unlikely that there will be one airline running on time if the rest of them are failing. It's going to affect the entire system overall. Can you ask to be booked on another airline? You can, but airlines aren't required to put you on another carrier's flight. Some airlines, including the biggest ones, except Southwest and the discount airlines, say they can put you on a partner airline, but even then, it is often hit or miss. Jeff Klee, the CEO of Amtrav, which helps businesses book travel, has recommended researching alternative flights while you wait to talk to an agent. Am I owed a refund? If you no longer want to take the trip or have found another way of getting to your destination, the airline is legally required to refund your money, even if you bought a non-refundable ticket. It doesn't matter why the flight was canceled. Potter said, if the airline cancels your flight, you can say, all right, I will take a refund and get my money back. The important piece is that you get your payment returned to you. That you're not just settling for an airline voucher that may expire in a year or less. You are also entitled to a refund of any bag fees, seat upgrades, or other extras that you didn't get to use. Can I get compensation? U.S. airlines are not required to pay additional cash compensation and cover lodging or meals for passengers who are stranded, even if a flight cancellation or severe delay is the airline's fault. The Biden administration had proposed a rule that would have changed that and required airlines to pay passengers for delays and cancellations in more circumstances, with compensation proposed between about $200 and as high as $775. But the Trump administration scrapped that last month, and the airlines praised him for doing so. What the airlines will cover. Each airline is different. The U.S. Department of Transportation has a site that lets consumers see the comments that each carrier makes, or commitments that each carrier makes for refunds and covering other expenses when flights are canceled or significantly delayed. Some other tips to consider. Travel insurance might help if you bought a policy when you booked or used a travel credit card that offers that product. But Potter said you shouldn't assume you will be covered even if you have insurance. Check the fine print to see if you are covered in situations like this when a shortage of workers causes flight disruptions. If many flights are canceled, airline agents will soon be overwhelmed by requests. If you're traveling in a group with someone who has a higher status in the airline's loyalty program, call using their frequent flyer number. You may get quicker service. You can also try calling your airline's international support number, which is usually listed online and may have shorter wait times. And finally, be nice. The agent is likely helping other frustrated travelers too, and yelling won't make them more willing to help. Remember, the cancellation isn't their fault. Read more over at the AP. For the AP business writer, Wyatt Grantham Phillips contributed to this report as well. When we come back, we head back over to the Chicagoland area, another Associated Press story where a Chicago daycare worker has been detained by agents. Stick around. You're listening to the WRMN 10 o'clock news.
Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey Bear fans, want your business heard during every heart-pounding moment of the game? WRMN 1410 is now offering in-game ad spots for Chicago Bears broadcasts. Be part of the action as thousands of die-hard listeners tune in each week. Whether it's a touchdown, a turnover, or a timeout, your message will be right there in the mix. Spots are limited and going fast. Call WRMN 1410 today and score big with in-game advertising that delivers results. WRMN 1410, where Chicago comes to play. Get in the game with the Chicago Bears and WRMN.
Next story comes from the AP, and it's all about Chicago. An employee of a Chicago daycare center and preschool was detained by immigration agents at work as children were being dropped off Wednesday, according to witnesses, reflecting the Trump administration's increasingly aggressive enforcement tactics. The employee ran from a vehicle into the Reito de Sol Spanish Immersion Early Learning Center after officers pulled into the parking lot right after her. Alderman Matt Martin said, citing witness accounts, the employee was detained at the entry while telling authorities she has papers, he said. Authorities went inside to question several people around 7 a.m. when the facility opened, according to witnesses. Several officers wore clothing Wednesday that read Police ICE, identifying them as U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials, according to Martin. Video circulating online showed at least one officer in a vest that said ICE as a woman was restrained and taken away. Department of Homeland Security spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin wrote in an online post, ICE law enforcement did not target a daycare. Officers attempted to conduct a targeted traffic stop of this female illegal alien from Colombia. Officers attempted to pull over this vehicle, which was registered to a female illegal alien, with sirens and emergency lights, but the male driver refused to pull the vehicle over. At a news conference Wednesday, U.S. Rep. Mike Quigley said the employee had a work permit and agents followed her into the school without a warrant. Representative Dalia Ramirez said at a news conference, they didn't just walk in chasing one person. They went into multiple rooms asking and looking for teachers while children were present. Reito de Sol, which operates 8 locations in Illinois and Minnesota, did not respond to a request for comment. Following the incident, its school on the north side of Chicago is closed for the day. Parents gathered outside the preschool looking angered and dismayed. Esmeralda Rosales, whose husband dropped off their 9-month-old child, rushed from work to show support for the staff. She said the woman detained was her child's teacher. She said, these are the nicest, kindest people. These children don't deserve to be living through this. Rieto parent Jason Worth, who was on the way to drop off his child. In Chicago, it seems like you're only 1 or 2 degrees of separation from someone who's had an ICE experience at this point. These are the people who are intended to protect us, and I think we feel preyed upon instead. Gregory Bavino, a senior Border Patrol official who has become the face of the immigration crackdown in Los Angeles and Chicago, has staunchly defended the administration's tactics in face of threats and protests. He said, I didn't have any reason to think it would be this bad, but it's far worse than I ever thought, he said in an interview Monday. He called his agents sanctuary busters, a swipe at so-called sanctuary cities like Chicago that limit cooperation with immigration authorities. To find more, head on over to the Associated Press. We'll do one more story before we get to our final commercial break. The Fox River Valley Initiative will meet to address the lack of affordable housing in Kane and DuPage counties and surrounding areas. It will be held at 11 a.m. Saturday, November 8th at Christ the Lord Lutheran Church, 12 in 462 Tina Trail, Elgin. The Fox River Valley Initiative represents hope to build on the success of the 1212 Larkin and integrated permanent supportive housing development in Elgin for residential use, serving working families and individuals with mental and physical disabilities. The meeting will begin at the church, then travel from the church to 1212 Larkin Avenue for a tour. For information, contact FRVI at admin@DuPageUnited.org. When we come back, we'll have just a few more stories here on the WRMN 10 o'clock news.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family, get help now at Insight Mental Health and Wellness. We can help and treat all types of depression and mental issues. We'll help you use your insurance to get away from it all to a beautiful, sunny, and tranquil vacation-like environment so you can recharge yourself. And with a Family Medical Leave Act, you could take the time off you need from work. Plus, with the Affordable Care Act, your treatment could be 100% covered. If you're suffering from any kind of anxiety, depression, PTSD, eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem, use your insurance and get away from it all. Come to sunny California. Call Insight Mental Health and Wellness now. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. That's 800-419-0287.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Before the weather gets too cold, it's time to finish up those outdoor jobs. That's why ComEd wants you to know that electricity can jump from a power line to you and to the tools you're using. So maintain a safe distance from any power lines. You can also call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON-1 to have those power lines de-energized the next time you do any work around them. Stay smart, stay safe, stay back. ComEd, powering lives.
Welcome back to the WRMN 10 o'clock news. We've got a few things here from News Nation. A Capitol Hill mainstay says she's retiring. News Nation's Tom Dempsey reports from Washington, D.C. that former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced that she won't run for re-election.
Some of the things on her resume here. We're talking about the first woman to be named Speaker of the House. That happened in 2007 under President Barack Obama. And she helped oversee things like, the Affordable Care Act working its way through Congress. And she's a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, too. I believe it was President Biden who awarded her that. But not too much of a surprise here when you consider her age. I'm sure this is something she's been considering for quite some time.
Pelosi is 85 and has spent nearly 4 decades working in politics. For many, the holiday season officially began with the announcement of the new holiday menu at Starbucks. And as News Nation's Nick Smith reports, The new holiday cup is already wildly popular.
Their Barista Teddy Bear Cup is already going for nearly $300 on eBay. This is even before that cup hits store shelves. On top of the merch, the chain is launching its full holiday menu this week, bringing back fan faves like peppermint mocha, caramel brulee latte, and iced gingerbread chai. Plus, there are new treats like the polar bear cake pop and cinnamon pull-apart bread, all for you to get into the spirit.
The company also announced a Hello Kitty line of cups, mugs, and toys. And to continue the bear side of things, Japan has deployed members of its military to deal with an overrun of bears. News Nation's Nick Smith explains.
In Japan, military troops are being deployed to trap and relocate, get this, bears. This because of a string of attacks and run-ins. Thousands of bears live in the country's northern mountainous region. More than 100 people have been hurt in bear encounters, and another 12 have been killed. That's the most in years. The troops carrying bear spray, shields, nets, and other supplies will set traps and then lead hunters to any bears that they catch.
Soldiers will set box traps with food inside. They will not use firearms to cull the bears. But experts say Japan's aging and declining population in rural areas are among the reason for the growing bear problem in recent years. Thank you for listening to the WRMN 10 o'clock news. It is currently 55 degrees outside on this sunny day as we march up to our high of 58. Tomorrow, we've got cloud coverage as well for a high of 62 and a low of 36. Stand by for rain on Saturday as our temperatures drop over the weekend, for Saturday having a high of 46 and a low of 28, where Sunday has a high of only 34. My name is Dennis Green. Stick around for more WRMN programming. You've been listening to the WRMN 10 o'clock news. Be sure to find us on YouTube, youtube.com, WRMN Radio. Have a fantastic day.